Here we go on the home stretch. The next film we're talking about today is Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues, which is a sequel to the 1984 film This Is Spinal Tap, one of my favourite films of all time, no joke. I must have seen it 100 times, at least feels like that. You know, an absolute legendary film. Do you remember when we went to uni and the first film they played for us, what was it? Spinal Tap. Absolutely brilliant choice. Of course, I'd seen it before then many times, and I've seen it many times since. It's one of those films I could never get bored of. You could put it on any time. I know all the lines, you know, like a lot of people do, and the scenes are legendary. So this was a tall order from the start. It's a sequel, of course. We've still got Michael McKean, Christopher Guest, and Harry Shearer returning as the three dudes from the band. It's directed by Rob Reiner again, who plays the character of Marty DeBerge, the film director in the film. So that's kind of cool. Again, it's done as a sort of modern rockumentary, or mockumentary as it's known, which suits it because it needs to be a bit more modernized. And, you know, this is, 40 years later they're doing this, you know, or 41 years later. So, like I say, it was a tall order. I never expected it to be as funny or as legendary as the first film, because how's it going to be? You know, catching up with these characters as old men, really, men in their late 70s, still trying to, you know, it's got something to say with that, because you get a lot of that with rock stars, don't you? The Rolling Stones are still going, and even though half the band's dead, and, you know, that kind of thing. So it's got stuff to say like that. But, you know, I was quite surprised going in with little... or next to no aspirations for it. I found it to be quite hilarious. In some places I was laughing my ass off where I wasn't expecting to. They are old now, though. That's all I can say. They are old. But you got some great cameos in here. You got Paul McCartney turns up. Elton John's in there. They've got other people interviewed talking about them as if they are a genuine bona fide band. They've got some good stuff playing some of their famous tunes. You know, that's the one thing as well, though. They didn't really write many new tunes for this. It was all leaning on the old Sex Farm Woman, Big Bottoms, Stonehenge, all the classic Tap stuff, you know.
Yeah.
It was more about, like, these guys being old and out of touch, wasn't it? But therein lies the humour. I mean, Christopher Guest has gone on to make a career of these kind of mockumentary films. You've had The Mighty Wind and Best in Show, and For Your Consideration. He's done loads of them, and they always star these guys as well. Michael McKean's in there, Harry Shearer, all the other great improvisational actors that he likes to work with. But obviously they've worked with Rob again, coming in to do this one. He plays his own role in it, which is hilarious. But yeah, I wasn't, as a massive fan of the first one, I wasn't as disappointed in this as I thought it was going to be. It was actually good little laugh. I watched it with my mate, who has also been a fan of Tap for years. We've watched it together many times, so it was a good person to watch it with, and they enjoyed it too. We both had a good giggle.
Yeah, I think I agree. I mean, you know, you're kind of expecting it now, going in thinking, oh God, you know,
is this going to be terrible?
Yeah, because we've had so many of these things in the last few years that, you know, you think, what's going to go on here?
Left it too long to make a sequel, basically.
Yeah, and it's been such a long time. The premise is good, though. It's like, oh, well, you know, the promoters died and they've found the contract. They've got to do one last gig. It's kind of, you know, it's kind of absurd but funny, kind of believable little thing. It's like they've got to do this one last gig. They don't get on as much anymore. You've got those internal squabbles. And you've got those bits in the studio, which, I was actually getting the vibes of the Get Back sessions. Now we've just seen the series the other year on Disney, of course, with the Beatles, and like some of the kind of spats going on. It was almost like George Harrison walking out. You know, it was like. But we of course get Paul McCartney. That I found that bit hilarious. He pops along for a play. I got a suggestion for you guys.
Yeah, they're
David
all offended.
Yeah, David afterwards. Yeah, I'm not a fan. He's got this sort of toxic personality. You know, comes in here telling us what to do. You know, very funny. Obviously, all kinds of celebrities turning up in it. Elton John, as you say, and he's in at the end as well. They play Stonehenge. gets squashed. Goff, Bruce Questlove, Lars Ulrich,
Chad
Smith. Everyone wants to be involved because of their love for the original, I guess. So it makes it kind of fun and vibes with the what they're trying to approach. I did enjoy Kerry Godliman, who played the daughter of the original manager in this.
She was great.
She was really funny.
Yeah.
That's some great lines in there. How's your father? He's dead, so he's not doing too well, actually.
Yeah.
And then Chris Addison, of course, one of my favourite comedy actors, playing the kind of promoter, was just such a Simon Cowell buffoon.
You know what? That was the one part of it I didn't gel with, because I like him too.
Really?
I like him. He is a funny actor, great British actor, but for some reason I felt like his character was a little bit too caricature of that kind of, that whole thing about if one of you could die. It's like, come on. I mean, there's funny, but that's just one step too far for me. It's like, even Simon Cowell wouldn't say that, because it's just fucking ridiculous. He's never going to ask one of the members of the band to die. And I just found that with his character was just over-egged. It's not his fault, because he was great as he just did his lines, but whoever was writing his character, I felt, was too much. It was too much. It was too stupid. It was like,
I did like the kind of, are you going to get up and learn your dancing now? And all that. I was like, that's quite funny. Like, it's approach. But fair enough, yeah. It was there was plenty of giggles in there.
There was.
Of course, it's nowhere near the original or anything like that.
It was never going to be there when we knew that.
No, but it was certainly like you have a laugh with this. It's exactly what I guess it's the best you could make it. Perhaps with what you have at your fingertips 40 years later.
Sure.
Everyone did their job great. They still sounded great and played the instruments great and everything. Is
Nigel working in the cheese shop.
Yeah, the cheese shop. Yeah.
Trading guitars for blocks of cheese.
Oh, and you have the cheese shop, and then of course the Museum of Glue.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely some laughs in there. They didn't do a terrible job. I hope they don't do any more after this.
No, leave it at that. Yeah.
Two's enough. Unless you had a very strong idea. I mean, it'd have to be a little bit more sort of manufactured, Spinal Tap go to, like the Beatles, talking of the Beatles, remember when they went to Manila or wherever it was, the Philippines, and if you did that with them, it'd be quite funny. But it would have to be a bit more scripted and manufactured, I think. Don't want to give them any ideas. Don't do it, boys. Just retire gracefully.
Would you settle for a coma?
Oh, no, that's interesting.
You
That's a great bit of thinking outside, well, the literal box, I suppose.
So definitely a thumbs up from me. And let us know what you thought of Spinal Tap. I found a great concert they did. I think it was Wembley Stadium or somewhere back in the 90s. So it was like a reunion concert. And it's on YouTube, so I'll put a link to that in the description for anyone who wants to see that. But it's well worth a watch. It's a full concert. They do all the numbers in it, the famous numbers, but there's also some hilarious stuff that happens on stage as well. Well worth a watch. And they play and sing really well live. They are talented guys. They wrote their own stuff. They play. They sing. They do it all. So as I say, I'll put a link to that video I found on YouTube for anyone who wants to see the reunion concert. It's pretty funny, pretty good. Thanks very much for watching this video. We really appreciate it. The best way to support this channel is by dropping us a like and subscribing. Other ways to support us include Buy Me a Coffee and Patreon. This video was sponsored by funkyt-shirts.co.uk. Check out their website for a full range of awesome t-shirt designs. You can find all the links in the description.